Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for a purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. For uses of use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, education, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Now let's start this dang show.
You gonna have any fights this week? Oh man, we gotta have some fights.
Well, this is. It looks like a real miss at bouncing back from getting back for this ball game. We did the things we thought we needed to do to get right, but we didn't play well in the first half at all. And you could see it across the board. Teams in offense and defense, we weren't physically back as much as they were. They played really well. They were strong from the beginning, and it put us behind them. But we weren't out at all. And our guys didn't feel like that. We kept. Mentally we were okay, but physically we just didn't seem like we made the bounce back as well as we normally do in coming back after the Monday night thing. So I got to do a better job. I really, it's all three phases, so it's me. And so I've got to do a better job making sure I manage our return and so that we get on the field, we're ready to go. The guys were trying, but we just didn't quite have like we had before. So it was a good bounce back game for Geno, even though he was under duress, a good part of it. He found his way and got us back on track, gave us a shot. Trey Tucker had a terrific football game for us. And it was good to see that. It's not scheme-wise, it's just physically. I think I didn't get him right. So I'm taking this one, and I'm disappointed in myself that I didn't see it coming, and got to get back to work.
Did you see this coming at all?
No. If I had known that, I'd have done something.
How do you keep the players really locked in and focused and not get discouraged by an outcome like that, knowing they want and expect more?
This is all I've ever known. This is what you do, and you have to deal with it. And we have really clear messaging from the beginning to deal with challenges and all of that. We also have tremendous leadership and from our club in the locker room. Max couldn't be more a part of the messaging and being vocal and challenging guys and to play up. Max has played extraordinary football right off the bat, which we expected, but his leadership has been even better. And so it's with that. It's leadership, it's direction, it's system, it's enduring the setbacks and coming back out of them. And that's got to keep building hope that it's available, and that's my job. See you.
Thanks,
All right, you heard it. You heard what he said. Where's the music?
Oh shit! Sorry, my bad. I was listening to
Where,
Pete.
41-24. That was an embarrassment over there on the East Coast at Washington. We all saw it. We all wish we didn't see it. And we kind of knew at the beginning it was probably going to go bad the way it started off with Deebo Samuel going down the field about 60 yards, whatever it was on that first return.
I think it was even more than that. Yeah, whatever it was. Getting them in basically the red zone to start the game. I mean,
yeah.
It was just pure. I mean, we forgot how to play football on all three sides of the ball that game.
Yeah, and I was going to say this right here, this comment right here by DC. What's up, DC? He says one team with 10 days rest and the other two a 5 days rest and a 3,000-mile trip, which was the Raiders, the 5-day rest and a 3,000-mile trip. Should have seen that coming, Pete. That right there, I'm not going to blame it on the NFL, the way they put the schedule together, but really, you have one team with the whole 10 days and then us.
They wouldn't do that to the Chiefs.
Oh, no.
I'm not saying it's a conspiracy or anything, but, we know they wouldn't do that to the precious Chiefs.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm not trying to make excuses, but you also got to factor in all this other stuff. We said this when we did our schedule show, that the Raiders are going to go back and forth, East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, East Coast, West Coast, East Coast. And that's how the beginning of the season is going to go. All right, Asylum. I know we had a bad game on Sunday, but how do you feel today on Wednesday?
Are we going to wait till the end of the show? Because I'm doing things under protest right now.
Well,
as far as football related, everything I do moving forward is under protest.
Well, I guess we'll talk about that later.
It's football, right? You're supposed to forget about it, shake it off, move on to the next week. The game's over. Learn from it and try to get better. And let's see, we got the Bears next. So, here's a chance to hopefully right the ship.
Yeah.
Get back on course, maybe.
Hopefully. Gotta believe.
Hopefully. All right, I'm looking at the little screen and seeing a whole lot of this.
All right, well, before we move on, it is a Peggy Wednesday. It's becoming my favorite segment of the show. Let's do a little CMN news. Asylum, do you have it right there? It's right there, CMN.
Yeah.
Okay, let's.
Pointing to the screen don't help. Move the mouse for me to right up there. It is. Now I see it.
Let's get that going. Here it is. CMN news for your week, or this week of week 4 week 3 going into week 4. Here we go. Yeah.
Ready?
Yes.
This is CMN, a cage match news update.
Hello, this is Asylum Burgundy at the Al Davis News Desk for your Cage Match News Update. This past Sunday was an embarrassment for these Raiders as they got their asses kicked 40-24. Horrible could not describe enough how they played. Despite wide receiver Trey Tucker having a career day with 3 touchdowns and 145 yards of receiving, the Raiders let a backup QB school them. And talk about offensive. This line gave up more penetration than a gangbang at a Diddy party, and Geno Smith felt all those sacks. The only damage we did was knock down Dan Quinn with his own quarterback. Moral victory. Why not show highlights, you ask? We know Roger Goodell loves to shut us down, and we don't want what happened last week to happen again.
It's actually he was able to run to the right. Why did we stop?
They did some
what happened to run the fucking ball? Establish.
Don't worry, young man. Goodell can never keep us off the stream. Ha 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 ha. Did you know Levi Stadium, where Super Bowl 60 will be played, was built on an amusement park parking lot? What's the scariest ride? Drop Zone. Nick Bosa does not approve of this. But Kay Adams can't wait to celebrate a Super Bowl win for whoever she helped get traded.
How much do I get if I knock out a light? 20 points. Oh.
Yes! Perfect! That was
I clearly can't open my eye.
Money shot to teams that won't be going to the big game this year played on Sunday Night Football over the weekend. The Giants were hosting the Chiefs, and the home crowd wanted to show love to Taylor. Lawrence Taylor, that is. The other Taylor, by the way, seems to have Travis playing like dog shit, especially since they got engaged, and everyone is tired of it. Not me, I'm all for it. I put this together to celebrate them.
It's me, hi, I'm the problem, it's me, I'm the problem, it's he's tired, everybody agrees, I'll stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror. It must be exhausting, always rooting for the anti-hero.
I have no chill. Let's turn this thing around and take care of business. Go Raiders.
I don't know which one was better. Thank you, Asylum Burgundy and James Earl Jones, but I don't know which one was better. A gangbang at a Diddy party or Kay Adams taking the money shot.
That is your CMN news for this week.
That was high quality. That went to Pulitzer right there. That's all I have to say. High quality news bringing to you.
All right, without further ado, let's bring in the reason why everyone is here. That is Miss Peggy. Asylum, please roll out the red carpet.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, how are you doing?
We're all recovering here in DC from the wonderful Raider Nation celebration that we had. I mean, we took over all of those parking lots. We took over the Lincoln Memorial, 2 full tour buses riding all through town to all Iwo Jima and every place, the Capitol, shouting Raiders. I mean, the Commanders fans didn't even know what was going on. They were standing there like, man, y'all are deep.
No matter what, win, lose, whatever our team does, the one thing we do as a fan base is we travel and we know how to represent.
That is correct. We were everywhere. I am here as a native born Washingtonian. I'm telling you, they have not seen an invasion like this in a long time, okay? And I want to thank everybody from the nation who made it here. I know it costs a lot of money, but I'm telling you, I hope you had a great time, and it was worth it until we got to Sunday at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
I was a season ticket holder for 17 years. I usually went for the tailgating.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, for those years, that's all it was. I was there for the party.
We had over 1,000 people at one tailgate, 500 at another. I mean, and that was really only half the nation because they probably skipped the tailgate, went right into the game, and some of us did not go to the game. We went to a bar and got drunk, and talked crap to Commanders fans, right? So
that sounds like my Sunday night.
There was plenty of silver and black. But guys, I wanted to get started right away to talk to Raider Nation about making lemonade out of lemons. We not firing nobody, okay? So let's just Stop with all that, personnel moves. You're the HR coordinator. Oh, he's got to go. He's got to go. Let's not blame it on the quarterback like we tried to do all last year. It has to be Minshew. It has to be O'Connell. Never mind that they were injured between them 3 times last year. Let's not talk about anything but it's a team effort. And I want to start, guys, with those special teams. I was in shock. Asylum.
Our strength. One of our strengths that we've had, you could say, we may have struggled on defense. We struggled on offense. We had the issues, but the one thing we could count on was the special teams. And to start the game, and we just looked like, oh, you blew the whistle? That's what it looked like. Oh, we started already?
Has the game started? And not only that, if people add up 245 total yards given up between punt and kick returns and 1 touchdown, that's 14-point swing in the game right there. Savage, have you ever seen a Raider team with this poor? And see, then I started fearing for the defense right away. Savage, have you ever seen a Raider team special teams fall apart like that?
That's a very broad question because I've seen many in the last 20 years. This is my Raider era right now. Is bad off. If it's not one team unit, it's another. Special teams. I can't pinpoint a game before, but I have seen where we would give up. Just special teams could not cover at all. This game right here, particular, I was texting Asylum throughout the game, and I just knew when Debo took that first kickoff and he went, past the 50-yard line, it's like 60 plus yards. I was like, I already knew, like, we're on the East Coast, we're probably tired. Like MC said, 5 days rest, going across country. This ain't going to be that, right? That one play is going to, that's going to be our snowball going down this hill of us not tackling, not covering, not being in our lanes. That's why I knew, like, this game was going to be a long game, and it happened to be even worse than I expected.
Right. When a game starts off, away game like that starts off like that right away, you already know. Well, I knew one thing. What does our defense look like? Because what is special teams made up of, right? Mostly your bench guys, okay? You have very few starters on special teams, and mostly your defensive guys. I cannot explain that. A lot of people want to make a big deal about the fact that we only had 5 days, we had to fly 3,000 miles. But I'll tell you a story. I was in New York, Pennsylvania for their 25th anniversary of their booster club. And we had Jim Otto, we had Willie Brown, we had Derek Ramsey, we had at least 2 other Raider legends, 5 Raider legends. And I asked them, what's the effect on a player when he has to fly 3,000 miles and then play a game? Those guys insisted that it made no difference at all. Now, they're from a different era. What do you think about that, Asylum? What do you think about these soft as cottonelle guys? The old school told me it made no difference in the way they played.
But at the same time, different era, and they traveled harder. Their travel was worse than what they get now. You got a lot of them, they got better airplanes, whatever. Sometimes they had to take buses to get to everywhere they're going. Their practices and everything was a lot. They generally would practice to the point of, okay, we're getting out of practice. Get your butt on that plane right now.
Bus.
and we're going. There was no in between. You didn't have all the family. And, traveling can be hard. I've done a lot of traveling. I've traveled outside the country and everything else like that. And it can get exhausting, yes. But at the same time, you're a athlete getting paid to be in peak physical form to play the game. And, a 5-hour airplane ride should not be the thing that affects you. It's going to be and we have players who allegedly partied all night and studied the playbook by the jukebox light and was still able to go out and play the game the next day.
Oh, drinking Stabler drinking until 4 a.m. in the morning, game day. I mean, come on. I mean, how many stories we heard about that? Now, how about the fact that they only had 5 days and the Commanders had 10? Think that affected anything? I mean, Savage. I mean,
maybe a little bit mentally. I mean, it get up to you here, but at the same time, highly paid, supposed to be a top athlete.
I would say probably the only effect that really had was on the decision of Pete Carroll starting Kappa over JPJ because JPJ had the concussion, and I guess those 5 days, let's just play it safe with the concussion. We'll start Kappa, and you know, well, I mean, he didn't play against Seattle. He didn't play against the Chargers, but I guess it was just kind of like that. Let's just give you 2 weeks of just kind of like, you know. Because concussions.
Every week I got a question about that for both of you. Right. There. Does it sound like or seem like Pete Carroll has something out for JPJ?
Yes, he does. He's he in his mind, he's an inexperienced guy. But guess what, Pete? It doesn't matter who's on that O-line, and we'll get to that. Experience doesn't matter. You got the wrong guys. They're either in the wrong place or you need 5 new guys, okay? But I see what you're saying. You know the thing he has about rookies, right, guys? He's talking about he doesn't really trust rookies. Well, guess what? On that O-line you got out there, you need to go to the semi-pro games. See if you can collect you a few guys and have them come out and, you know, practice or something with the team or something like that, because at this point it's what I call a break glass for emergency moment for the Raiders in that O-line. And there is no way, after looking at the film for the first 3 games, you can call it any other way. But let's break this down. You can't, Asylum, you can't just say, oh, the O-line. There are specific breakdowns on that O-line that should not be happening, but they are. And let's talk about physicality, okay? What do you observe about the physicality? All 5 of them, I'm not exempting Colton Miller.
They're getting pushed around. They're all getting pushed around. They're not moving forward. They're constantly moving backwards.
I mean, can you coach that? I mean, how do you coach that, Savage? I mean, what can a coach do about that?
Pushed around. I mean, that's a size saying, you know, for the most part. I mean, there's a little things you could do to coach to be able to teach leverage and everything. Again, I'm telling you, bring in a fucking sumo wrestler. He's known for leverage and pushing people around.
Savage, you gotta have your sumo wrestler picture the next time we come around. We need about 3 of them bad boys. Okay,
but I'm serious on that because some of it, and not everything we're seeing is going to be coachable. No, it is like the point you're trying to get to is our offensive line is small. They're getting pushed around by a bigger D-line constantly.
Constantly, they can't stay on their blocks. Even if they do, and it's something as Savage we talked about before we got on the air. How many times did we see Raider O linemen standing there? This is just breaking down where the failures are. There's so many of them. Break it down. Standing there looking for somebody to block. Yeah. Now, if you're standing there looking for somebody to block, my question is, well, where's your guy? In the quarterback's face.
Yeah. And, you know, I don't know, because when I coached offensive line in high school, that's where I go in high school. 2 years of high school football.
See, playing, looking for someone to block. I mean, it's just why are you looking for someone?
The only excuse that I can say for an offensive lineman not knowing what he's doing, I mean, playing bad, is because he doesn't know what he's doing, and instead of just hitting somebody, they stand there and they think, and when they stand there and they think, like you said, Peggy, that's when they, And I said earlier, it's like when the kid
with the hands up, right? They're standing with their hands up.
Like if a kid is doing something he ain't supposed to be doing, and he actually knocks over the glass vase, and you hear the
wasn't me.
And he's looking like, there's someone knowing her. It wasn't me. And that's the only way I can see it. But they're smaller. Like Asylum said, they're smaller guys compared to the competition they've been facing the last 3 games. But you just have to be meaner. If you're lower, and if they're bigger than you, they shouldn't be standing you up. You have to attack.
There has to be, but again, being physically overwhelmed. This was going on all last year. Anybody looking at the film could have seen that. Chip saw it. He had to see it. The physicality of the line just is lacking. Look at their feet. I mean, if you could just freeze it, they're flat-footed. How are you going to hold your ground or even push forward if your feet are flat on the ground?
Look, 66. That's Parham, right? Look at Parham.
There he is, 66, standing there with nobody to block. Why? Because his guy's in the quarterback space. That's why. That's why you got nobody to block. But let's talk about another aspect of the failures on the line. It's just so many to name. And this is something pointed out to me. He said, I didn't keep it. And that's the center play. And I've asked you guys this. What is the job of a center? On a pro O-line.
He's the quarterback. He's calling out defenses and calling out blocking schemes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
But more importantly, he recognizes stuff.
Mm-hmm.
In advance, you can't call out a signal unless you see stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's too late to call it once the ball is snapped, because ain't nobody going to hear you. But
the only thing they hear is look out.
Well, you can't.
Blow the whistle, blow the whistle.
The job of a center is to recognize schemes and to see things like blitzes maybe coming and to call out signals to his guys that, listen, you need to double that side. But what is happening if you take a look at the film on this O-line? It was going on all last year with JPJ at center, okay? Is that they were calling out the wrong signals. They were doubling the wrong guys, leaving gaps and holes that defenders just flew right through to our quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And I can't say how many times I've seen them double a guy because once one O-lineman slides over to double somebody, well, what happens to his guy? Right?
Yeah. The other guy is supposed to take his spot, basically. When one guy's leaving his post, the other guy is supposed to cover for him. And that's the thing where it was on last week's game where you saw Parham. So I don't know if he was supposed to pull or
nobody
what.
Nobody to block again. 71. Nobody to block. Why are you not blocking?
you seen Miller down block in to get that guy, and then Parham just kind of stood there. So it was 3 guys to 1 defensive tackle. Parham was in the middle, kind of like looking. And then that's when Genty was supposed to come up, and then he got swarmed by a whole bunch of DBs. D tackles. And that's what was confusing. Like, did you thought you was pass blocking on a run play? Like, what are you doing? So someone either they're not knowing their assignments, they don't know if there's a guy in front of you, if that's supposed to be your guy to display or what. If the center's not calling the right scheme, the right blocking, the calls in the line, something is not working, or it just simply is you guys are regressing, and we got to start throwing in guys who, making some changes. So,
but let's talk about one more aspect of the extent of the failure, which is why people are probably talking about this O-line coach. What happened to the double tight end scheme? What happened to tight end blocking? If you've got 5 guys plus a tight end, or 5 guys plus 2 tight end, that means there should be 7 men, theoretically, blocking. So why can't you run the football?
And that's the thing too. Like for the majority of the game, you know, before it got out of hand, they were only rushing 3. I mean 4. They were only rushing 4.
I mean,
and they couldn't make holes.
Starts happening, they have zero respect for you. When
yeah.
With that.
But I'm saying is they couldn't make lanes. They couldn't make running lanes. You like you said, it's supposed to be 6 with the tight end or 7 with the 2 tight end set guys in front, and they can't block 4 guys. Yeah, they can't block 4 guys to make openings for Genty. It's just that
if you look at the film, if you're isolating Meyer and Bowers when they're in blocking, they're doing the same thing that those interior 5 are doing. They are losing their blocks, sliding off their blocks, missing their blocks entirely. Okay? Mm-hmm. They're doing the same thing. So I'm like, oh, this is systemic.
So we need to dumb down the play calling? Is the plays too complicated for these guys?
I mean, we could say, and now one more aspect of the extent of the failure, and that's Junty and his communications with his blockers. And I'm not mad at Junty. First of all, September is preseason, guys. For those who don't watch football, I mean, these units did not play in the preseason together, okay, in games that mattered. September, the first 4 games, that's the time where that chemistry, where that cohesion builds. Junty and his communication with his blockers, he has no idea where his guys are going. You notice he's running right into the back of people. You see? He sees some holes, but not others.
Wait. I want to look at this right here. This next play coming up after this. I just noticed. I was trying to see, was that a receiver or was that an offensive lineman? It's after this play. Hold on, after this play. See, when I want to point, the film wants to go slow. Wait, did I miss it?
You're so funny.
Okay, right here. I think this play right here. So who's this guy? Who's this guy pulling right here? Why are you slowing down?
Right, exactly. Again, there's just such miscommunication.
That's fundamental.
Don't know where each other, and Junty isn't used to this, right? He came from a pretty sophisticated blocking scheme where he's from. Guys actually knew what they were supposed to be doing, and they held their blocks, and they moved people. But no such thing is happening now. So Junty, everything is brand new for him. You all will be pleased to know he had 63 yards rushing this week, up from 45, and up from 38 game 1. So it's incrementally getting better. We had 93 yards rushing. I mean, almost 100 guys, and that's with 5 or 6 people rushing, by the way.
Yeah, team effort.
He has commented. He has commented. The speed of the NFL has taken him by surprise. Well, like you said, September, the first 4 games, I think it's starting to come to him. He's starting to figure it out. You
have to find those holes a lot faster than you are.
Yeah,
you have to find the backside. You have to find the cutback lane a lot faster.
And I think it's starting to get there, and you're starting to see it a little bit. But I mean, it's going to be constantly like this if you cannot get the O-line to at least block somewhat better. You know, he's going to have problems breaking 100 yards a game.
But Solomon, it's not even better. It's the consistency of the blocking. I mean, Junty has to have something he can count on. Okay, if I run left, this is what I can expect. If I run right, I can expect these 2 guys to do this. And unless something happens, you have a run blitz that blows up a lane or something like that. And that happens too, but Junty has had to have seen that, right? That's where you have that set of eyes on the side of your head to find the cutback lane, because when that happens, there has to be a cutback lane.
There is no cutback lane.
Well, with all of your guys in the backfield already, it'll never materialize. It only materializes when the blocking is going forward.
Yeah.
And it hasn't. And I've analyzed about 5 aspects of where we're in trouble with that O-line. I mean, there's so many things to fix. I guess you could. Is that Pete's little boy that's doing the coaching?
Brennan Carroll, yes,
Pete's
he
boy?
is. He is the head coach. I mean, the head coach. He is the offensive line coach. Coming from
This is a
Seattle.
job. I'm sorry, he's overwhelmed. Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever experience he has is too much. You know who I'd really like them to find, and he's working for the UFL right now. I'd love him to bring Tom Cable in.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Tom Cable. I was surprised he didn't bring Tom Cable because he had Tom Cable coach under him for a lot of years in Seattle. You know, when he was bouncing back and forth from Oakland to Seattle to Oakland to Seattle, Tom Cable. And that's who Brandon coached underneath Tom Cable. So I would have thought maybe you would have picked up how Tom Cable puts his offensive line together and how he's able to mix and match guys, you know, for that week and make it work. Because we've seen it as Raider fans, we've seen it when he was O-line coach, when he was the head coach. We've seen the magic that he can, you know, do with offensive linemen, especially with a whole bunch of guys that are new because of injury or whatever it is. He knew how to put the right combination for that game plan.
Always knew how to do it, and we never saw any decrease in the level of line play, even with injuries. See, that's the kind of coaching that is needed. Because I've analyzed 6 things that are wrong with that line. This, like I said, this is break glass for emergency. The glass is already tinkling on the ground. Okay? I don't know what else they need to know. Either they need to bring in help for the line coach, or they need to start bringing in guys. You just need to start scouring those rosters. I mean, I was so desperate. I went to, just for fun, the free agent list to see which O-linemen are still out there. And of course, I was down to number 40 on the list before I started finding. Now, 40 through 52 are available in terms of PFF grades, okay? Can we do... I mean, because let's face it, all the good guys are already working.
Yeah.
Right? If you're worth a damn, you're already working. But at this point, we need a Tom Cable just to evaluate talent. You know, numbers 40 through 52, are they any good? Is it worth bringing them in for a shot? How you going to make roster space if you bring them in? Of course, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and that's where a lot of us were kind of, you know, wondering what the plan was when free agency opened up, because the only guy we got in the offensive line was Alex Kappa, and we see in the last 2 games, whether it's whether it's him or the whole unit together, he didn't look good. Parham regressed with Kappa on the other side. They don't even play next to each other, but for some reason the guards both just didn't show up the last 2 games. So we were all wondering, like, what was the plan? And, you know, we were talking about, me and Asylum, was maybe Philbin was all like, well, hey, these guys can work if they're under a system that can work for their skill set. But we didn't do nothing with the offensive line.
I just analyzed for you 6 areas that are urgent to consider on this line. Okay? I think it calls for somebody with a lot more experience. I mean, I honestly do. I don't know how much experience Pete's boy has got, you know, and I know it's his child.
Well, I mean, you remember the offensive line last year got better when Philbin took over.
It kind of, sort of did, but it didn't help us win any more games. I always look at that. You know, all right, you know, whoopee, Trey Tucker had 3 touchdowns. Did it help us win the game? The answer is no. And that's
maybe it's time to do the dreaded word and trade for that offensive lineman.
But now we have to go back to the offseason. Okay, guys, it's woulda, coulda, shoulda time. I mean, let's roll the videotape. What was going on between Spytek, Kelly, and Carroll after they reviewed that offensive line film from 2024? Their decision was, let's keep the same guys.
Yeah,
That's what they did.
That's where we didn't throw out any money for offensive linemen. The only guy we got was Kappa, and
took forever.
That was he was like the first offensive signing, after day 4. They at the same time they re-signed. They structured Crosby's contract. There was we also signed Kappa. Oh, okay. Oh wait, he was the guy that wasn't good with the Bengals. Oh yeah, okay. But he played for Tom Brady when he was with the Buccaneers. Oh, okay.
Exactly.
See
what I'm saying? And we know why Spytek is there, And I sent him to Starbucks to get me my cinnamon mint coffee. But I'm just saying.
You're not a pumpkin spice for the season?
Oh, that's right. It's fall now, so it's time. I take a little foam on the top of that too. See, that's why they bought it. That's why they got rid of Telesco and bought in Spytek, so he would do as he is told. So whoever told him that we did not need to get on aggressive on that free agent market and see if we could just buy somebody. And of course, the other thing is, because of the way the Raiders have treated players, there's players that probably tell their agents, the Raiders are not on my list. Okay? You have to think about it. You gotta keep that in mind. That they just don't want to come here. Mm-hmm.
We've already dealt with that for years.
Well, the people that we need don't want to come here. We have to take that into consideration before we just beat on Spytek's head. Maybe he did try to get, but to not come back with nothing but Kappa? And when I told my Bengal fans, oh, we picked up Kappa, they just bust out laughing and wouldn't stop.
And we could see why. Tell me why.
Kappa was safe for the Kappa or the Cap. I don't know.
we could make a song out of that one. I mean, I really think that if you're talking about get rid of the O-line coach, no, I want to really, take into the woodshed whoever looked at the film from 2024 on this O-line and said, let's keep the same guys. That was it. Oh, he said the Raiders need the Boca. No, whoever said that, that's the guy that needs to go to the woodshed. Okay?
Yeah.
Because there is no way you could look at that film for 2024 and say, Parham. I wasn't even happy with Meredith, but they said he was the best one. Of course, how could you look at the 2024 film and then give Colton Miller a $60 million extension?
I was ready to trade him for some picks. I was me. That was me. I was all like, you know what? Let's get something for him. Let's trade him. Get some picks or get something out of him because he is, 31, 32, and starting to become more injury prone. So I was like, hey, you know what? If people want, hey, let's get some value for him. They ended up re-signing him for 3 more years. Okay. But that's the same thing they did with James, the center, Andre James. They signed him for 3 years and let him go after the first one. So I don't know.
I think they all
29.
Before they went into that meeting to decide what they wanted to do the free agent market, they all took a tab of Purple Haze. Because there is no way in the world that you could make a decision to give Colton more money, okay, then go out and get a Kappa, and then decide, we're going to leave the same 5 guys here. We don't need to go out. There is not an all-pro among them. And guys, this is Groundhog Day. We have had this conversation about the talent, have we not? We had this conversation last year. And that was one of the things, and I was stunned when there was no free agent activity. And again, we don't know why. Could be that nobody wanted to come here. Nobody good wanted to come here.
But I thought the Vegas was supposed to atmosphere was supposed to be more attractive with the new stadium and no state taxes. Like this was supposed to be better than Oakland, and it's going to be much nicer, and players are going to want to come here more. And I'm making excuses. I don't know.
but wait a minute, you got Pete Carroll, right? Then you brought in Chip Kelly, so you see the Raiders are trying. No. Players are not stupid. They're looking out for their careers. They're businessmen. They saw what you did to Devontae Adams. They saw what you did to Carr. How you treated him after 9 loyal years of service. Players are not stupid. They don't line up to be abused. And they really don't care how much money you got on the table. Also, they don't sign up to be used, which is why we lost Khalil Mack. Mack saw that we were never going to put a defense around him. Said, these people going to shorten my career by 5 years. Let me get out of here. I mean, they're never going to put a good DT next to me or some good linebackers behind me. You know what I'm saying? Players see this. They talk with each other. Their agents talk, and they tell their agents which teams they'll consider. And, of course, lots of these top players, they want to go to playoff contenders, don't they?
Yeah.
Right? So before we could criticize them for not getting anything, we have to take into account he maybe couldn't find anybody that wanted to come. It's a possibility. We don't know for sure. But let's talk again. I want to go to talk right about Geno. I don't feel like people understand what Geno is being forced to do.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
He has to completely abandon his game plan. That's the number one. When you have zero, right?
He has to focus more on his safety. How much he's getting chased around in that offensive line, that pocket that doesn't block anybody.
And before we start talking about why doesn't he run? Well, if you look at the film, there is no escape hatch except backwards.
Yeah.
That's how complete the blocking has broken down. Left and right sides of the pocket are collapsing on him if he stays. He has nowhere to run but backwards. He definitely can't step up, right? Because he got bums in front of him. Parham and Meredith and Kaplan blocking anybody.
We saw that in that Charger game where he couldn't step into any deep throws because the guy was already getting backed into his face, where he had to try to risk the throw, throw with his wrist.
Exactly.
He couldn't do a full rotation of the arm. He had to try to do a layup.
But we're not making excuses for Geno. Geno has compensated, and I don't think people see this yet. It's called street football. Okay?
Yeah.
You go tell your receivers, because you only have one shot, and you got to take it in 3 seconds. Okay? So right away, it's called street football. You get open, and I'll get it to you. Geno doesn't have any other choice here. He can't wait 5 seconds for plays to develop.
Yeah. True.
Okay? You get open, and I'll find a way to get it to you. Now, that does result in incompletions and, of course, INTs. But we didn't have any interceptions on Sunday, did we?
No, he was clean. And if you look at the two quarterbacks, you would think Geno was the winning quarterback. I mean outside of the rushing touchdown.
Their stats were even. If you look at the team stats, they both had 17 first downs. I mean, it was the same amount. It was a very even game, and that's why we started off the hour talking about special teams.
Yeah, the forgettable one.
That was the difference in this game. Take that 14 points away. Now it's 27-24. Okay? And by the way, garbage time is overrated. That's what people say when they want to explain why the other side, where Anderson scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter when the game was out of control. Oh, the other side let them score 2 points. No, they didn't let them do anything. The Commanders had injuries in that secondary. That secondary was wide open in the fourth quarter, no matter what anybody says about garbage time. We could have done anything we wanted to in the secondary. Lattimore, he was out, and then he came back in, but he wasn't the same. He lost Tucker twice. Okay? I don't know whether the first time he was in, but the second time it was definitely Lattimore. I mean, they had an injury to a safety, right? They had 2 linebackers go out. So by the fourth quarter, the Commanders weren't playing with their starting defense. Don't tell me about garbage time. If they could have kept us to 10 points, they would have. Stop it.
And that's what, like, we can't run the ball. Okay. Can't run the ball because our offensive line can't do nothing. We're still trying to go deep. Now, I don't know if that is Chip Kelly calling deep plays that need time to develop with the offensive line that you ain't got.
We cannot stop. They have no respect for us already.
And that's where me and Asylum talked about him, and I know Asylum talked about this a lot. Where's the slant? Where's the quick attack the middle of the field? Because you've seen like some quick routes. You've seen in this video, right? The when we were doing earlier, they have all this open in the middle between the safety back there, the 2 safeties back there, and the linebackers. Where's the quick slants in just to kind of get this offense moving, get some kind of rhythm.
Try to get some kind of a rhythm going, and it gives Geno time. If you can do the quick slants, 1, 2, 3, throw the ball. It does help. It gives him time. He's not rushing around, running around, and it starts to make the defense have to respect the middle of the field.
Right, which is what you want them to do, is worry about the safeties, worry about what's going on in front of them, to the linebackers, what's going on behind them. You do want to occupy those safeties and linebackers. And if you could do that, that's when you get your single coverage deep. Now, I'm just saying that to say that maybe Kelly is just, he just needs, for his plays to work in his playbook, he needs better O-line play. And
I don't want to do that at all.
Yeah, I mean, you write a playbook, man. That takes a lot of time. Put your head and effort all summer long, right? And then you can't execute but a third of it. Can't even call certain plays. You know how you be flipping the pages and you just don't even look at certain pages because you know you can't run it. Your O-line can't block long enough. I think I'm going to give Geno a lot of credit. Instead of giving up or anything like that, I think he's developed another plan of action. And that is, and Tucker got on the page. We need Meyer, Bowers, that boy Thornton. We need them to get on the page. Get open, and I'll get it to you in 3 seconds.
And we talked about that. Me and Hassan talked about that on Friday. That if you know your offensive line, talking to Geno, if you know your offensive line is who they are, you got to start making plays on your feet. Once that ball snapped, you got to already get away from them and find guys open. Have that room, roll out and have that room to step up to make these throws. Because if you know your line ain't going to keep you up, like you said, Miss Peggy, those tackles are already getting caved in. Now you're getting swarmed, and now the pocket. It's collapsed, and then you're right in the middle of it.
What pocket? I keep asking people, what pocket? You have to look at the film. There, at 3 by 5 seconds, there is no pocket anymore.
Yeah.
On every single pass play, there is no pocket anymore, and I think that Geno is adapted to it. I don't know whether y'all saw one play. You had to be looking at TV, but when he was on the ground, one of his 5 sacks that he took, he just threw the ball into the ground. He was sitting there on the ground, and he just
He did it between his legs. I saw that.
That's the second to last sack he took, and then like 2 plays later, he got sacked again.
Right. He knows he has to play a totally different ball. He has to throw the game plan out the window.
Yeah.
Okay. And the other thing that Kelly's not doing, in addition to the slant, and I'm not sure, and our audience can tell us, I think the slant takes a little more time to develop than Geno has. I really do. Post slants, they take time to develop because remember your guy is coming from one side across the middle. I think it takes more than 3 seconds. Too much time. That's probably why you don't see it.
Yeah.
But first of all, I have 2 questions to ask you guys. First of all, why aren't they getting the ball into Junti's hands more often with the pass? Right?
Yeah.
That's a play that could develop really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get him in open space.
Second question I asked, where's Mostert? Is he hurt again? Did he nick a toenail and go on IR?
He's been inactive. He's been inactive the last 3 games. They haven't said
what's up
if
with
it's
that?
an injury or what it is. But
what's up with that, y'all? I mean, Mostert is a great change of pace back, and he's a veteran, which Pete loves.
Mm-hmm.
So why is he inactive? I mean, these are
I'll tell you one thing I've noticed about Genty, and this comes from being a rookie. I've noticed the last couple games is he keeps when he does come out of the backfield to go out, for those dump passes and everything. He's constantly getting taken off his mark. If he tries to chip somebody, he is thrown off balance. He's not, going. He's
Come on, can you blame him? He has to save his quarterback. He could easily be.
You asked a question and I'm answering it.
Go ahead.
So
you think he's getting held up? Tell me.
That's a legit reason. He's not. I've watched him try to chip a guy and get out, and he's stumbling back, and now he's late to his position. I just think it has to do with what he commented earlier. What we said that he commented earlier, the speed of the game, and as that comes to him, he'll be able to get there and be able to get back. He's just not quite there yet, in that aspect. And I think that's why they're not using him as much in that passing game, because he's not where he needs to be when he needs to be there to be able to bail out Geno.
But I mean, isn't that something that we need to fix, seeing we have no O-line? I mean, every quarterback has an outlet, a safety valve, right? Where's Geno's safety valve? Where's his safety valve?
And it is something that's coachable. It is coachable.
You're right. So, anybody heard about? Do we have to put a bolo out on Mostert? Where is he? What you heard?
An APB. APB.
Broken toenail. Can't put his shoe on right.
Jason said Mostert has become the most hurt.
And I can't disagree, but I ain't seen him on IR. I haven't seen him on the injury list. He's just inactive. He would be a good change of pace back. Plus, he's a veteran. They're more cagey. They see things. And the eyes that we're waiting for Junti to grow on the side of his head, they're already there for Mostert. So he can see the cutback lanes. So why isn't he there?
I mean, it was. I don't know if.
I'll call Tom Brady and get that answer for you for the next time you're on.
Thank you so much.
Tom Brady is giving us the game plan for the Bears game. Okay, that's what apparently last week they were saying. So maybe.
I mean, I can't see anything different happen against the Bears. I don't see this line. Every defensive coordinator in the league knows we have no O-line now. They can do whatever they want. 5-man, 6-man, 7-man front. Oh, let's just rush 4 like the Chargers and put 7 men in coverage. I mean, they can just disrespect us so badly. I mean, it's really, really bad that a defensive coordinator can choose what he wants because he know he ain't gonna have no problem getting to your quarterback.
Yeah.
Right? He's
Yeah.
not gonna have any problem stopping the ostensibly the number 1 running back taken in the draft.
They're gonna turn him into Trent Richardson. They run into the wrong holes.
Stop. No, I really thought he needed a seeing eye dog and a cane. I really did. I thought there was something wrong with the boy's eyesight.
He needed the whole. Oh, I gotta go. Okay, I can cross now.
I'm almost ready to get out of here, but let me say one more thing about these early failures with our O-line. Failure becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy for athletes, okay? In athletic sports. If you go out week after week after week and you lose, or you don't do well, play terrible. After a while, it gets to your head. You start believing that you're not any good. Now, I know these are pros, but what I'm afraid of is that if they keep failing, they don't have a good game, they're going to start believing that they're no good. And then there's no hope mentally, psychologically, for them to get any better. This happens among athletes, especially losing teams, right? They get into this thing in their head.
What's it called? The yips? The yips? What's it called? When they
I've
just
heard it called yips. The guys have a name for it. But I know that continued failure, this is what frightens me about this O-line, it's just going to beget more failure. And it'll start becoming the way they expect to play. And I'm hoping, and that's coaching. Coaching has got to get on it. The glass is tinkling on the floor. I done broke glass. It's an emergency. Send the fire department. Okay? Because we have to fix this now while we can and get a chance to write the season by November or December. No, December is really too late. We need to get this right by November. And, I mean, they can't wait.
We need to be headed the right direction by the end of October. Getting into that last week of October, you need to be having winning streaks and everything else. You got to have your, shit getting better, getting to the point of.
I guess the question right now is, if we're on the Titanic, did we already hit the iceberg, or are we on our way to the iceberg? Can we turn course? Because we can see the iceberg.
I think that iceberg then already tore a hole in the front of the Titanic. It hadn't tore a hole in the entire side. When your O-line is engaged, what do they talk about? Catastrophic failure, right? They talk about that in the engineering sense. I outlined 6 areas of that O-line that need help. That's too many things to fix. And so now you're saying, can I get new guys, or can I get another coach? But this is not the discussion we should be having in September.
Yeah. In week 4.
Yeah, it's not. Listen, guys, I got to run. But as always, it was lovely. And once again, anybody that came to Washington, thank you so much for visiting our lovely city. Okay? See you soon. 2 weeks. Yeah, I know it. And in 2 weeks, we'll have even more evidence to continue this discussion. Okay?
All right. Well, thank you, Miss Peggy. Thank you for coming on. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yes, sir. Bye.
I'll talk about the first quarter of the season. All right.
All right.
Have a good night. All right, that was Miss Peggy. Before we move on, let's do our little shameless plug here in the video. Assam, do you got it or me?
Got it. It's right there.
Hello, everyone. I get to do the shameless plug too. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to The Cage Match Show on YouTube. And hit that bell like you want to hit Roger Goodell for messing up our favorite sport. And also, help me out by going to Dubby.gg. Put Cage Match in the discount code box and get 10% off your order. Get that energy like me doing all these segments. Back to the show.
All right, and we appreciate.
That's the only way Asylum Burgundy is going to get paid.
We appreciate all those who were watching live. We saw the ticker. We're like, hey, 18. There is a lot of choices you can have on YouTube for your Raider news, but we are the ones that give you your Raider news and entertainment. That's what we do here. Because we are the Cage Match. In style. With a little doll named Burgundy. Okay, so
Burgundy.
Because I just want to say there are people out there in particular who want to copy the way we do things here, and I mean more so of the style, more so of the concept that we do here. But what we do here on the Cage Match Show is we always got to evolve like an offense, like an NFL offense. You have to keep changing and keep being more, the big words, you got to keep letting them chase it, letting them chase what we're doing.
You got to be innovative.
Big words, school district that I went to, they don't use big words. We just say, you got to be better. You got to be better. And, but we appreciate more good, but we appreciate, because they say imitation is is flattery, whatever it is. So you heard Savage, big words. Oh yeah. So we don't do miracles. We just do our best to give entertainment.
Hey, I've worked a couple miracles in my lifetime, but there's just some that are out of my hands.
When I used to be a designated driver for a lot of my friends, my role with my friends was I was, people call it the wingman. I like to call it the fullback, because I'm the one that has to take on the initial contact and then basically open the conversation for one of my friends. Oh, that girl over there. Can you let's go talk to that girl. And I got to come up with some kind of, okay, here we go. All right. Let me go and initiate contact, and then you can go. And I just, I was the John Ritchie. I was the John Ritchie of my friend group, where I had to go in there and basically, go head on, come back to the side of the bar, not bleeding.
You had to open it up for them to be able to, squeeze in there. And
yeah. So I was like Lorenzo Neal. I had a lot of 1,000-yard rushers that I had to help for, But I enjoyed it. I was a fullback of the year many years in a row, 2011. So. But speaking of blocking Asylum, let's talk about this offensive line. This offensive line here. The videos that I played were from Baldy on Twitter. So I'm going to put the commentating on it so we can hear what he says. So because I want to just kind of show what even everybody else is seeing on the national level when it comes to offensive line. So let's go back to here. Yes. Wait, put the sound back on. Wait, let's rewind it. Okay, this is the Raiders' offense.
Here's how the Commanders
against
played the Raiders
their defense.
on 1st and 10. Two high safeties. They weren't giving up the deep shot to Tucker or to Thornton or to Myers. So when you get two tight ends and you get that look, you got to make yards. You can't run into a wall and not gain anything. I mean, here it is. Here's the same look right here. Now watch the blocking up front. All right, no movement whatsoever. All right. Now Genty's trying to squeeze himself right through that eye of a needle right there, and Bobby Wagner's waiting for him. Here you go. 1st and 10. Two high shell. Here you go. All right. Genty gains 2.5 yards. He's averaging 3 yards a carry. You've got to make them pay for this safety being all the way back here. All right? He's 13 yards off the ball. There's got to be more movement right there. Bob Wagner right there just waiting on it. Here you go. Now, you get two deep shell right here, right? Safety's back. Look at that safety. Will Harris is all the way back there. Best run of the year for Genty. 16 yards onto the safety, and he pummels him. Now, when you watch this, it's a well-blocked play. This is what they got to start doing. All right, here you go. Nice job on the scissors of sealing the backside. Good fit right there on Sandristle, and now you make the safety pay. There's not enough of that in the run game for the Las Vegas Raiders right now. JT averaging 3 yards a carry, a lot of those against a too-high shell. You got to run them out of it is what you got to do. You got to run them out of the too-high shell. That's the ticket.
Now, the stat that's been going around, Asylum, I know you've seen it. You were telling me earlier of all the people that want to keep talking about this one stat is that Genty, 144 total rushing yards, 145 of those, or 145 yards after contact, which is 101%, whatever that percentage is. Like, and I mean, you see it right there. He's getting the ball and he's already getting contact 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. This offense line does not make opening holes. But
there's structure on that. And I'm going to go. I mean, Baldy kind of pointed it out there too. Peggy did it, and I'm going. It's the benefit of the doubt here. We talked about it, how he says the speed of the game, caught him by surprise. JT expected to come out and be able to do what he did in college, and he learned a lesson real quick. His vision needs to be, a little better right now. There's been some holes that he's missed. We don't have none of that tape there, but, it's far and few in between. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not putting it on Genty. But, his vision, whether it's we go back to this whole bullshit about his Michael Myers stance versus his slight little, slouch. And if you notice, he's sneaking in the Michael Myers. I'm sorry, I've been seeing it. It's been snuck in there. But, he needs to swivel it, whatever it is. His vision needs to be a smidge better for some of the holes that are there when they're there. Maybe 2 or 3 a game that's been there that he's missed. Granted, they're not there. So, yes, he's getting hit in the backfield and still getting positive. Well, he's going to have to be positive yards because he has 101, percent.
Yeah.
After contact, which means he's falling forward, everything, forward. So when it comes together, the kid's going to be a beast. It's just you're going into week 4 with a rookie running back who is, knows his job, but got blindsided by the speed of the NFL. I'm sure he's not used to seeing defensive linemen and linebackers who can move as quickly as he's been seeing. I got a hole right here. It's going to be great. How the fuck did that close already? I only took 2 steps. Yeah. So it's a learning thing. What I talked about when Peggy, what I was trying to get across when Peggy had asked, about, you see him, chip and come out, just directly, behind the line of scrimmage for that dump out. When you're constantly getting pushed off of your line, you watch most running backs who do that, they're able to chip. Their shoulders may turn, but their hips and legs are still in the same spot, moving forward, so they're where they need to be for that quarterback to be able to dump the ball. Mm-hmm. It's easier to turn them shoulders than when you get thrown off, take 2 steps back, and now you're trying to get back to where you were, and Geno's like, where the hell you at? It is something I have noticed. He's a big bat. When he chips like that, it should not be happening, but it is. So he's being surprised, or when he does stuff like that, he's off balance. He's not forward like he should be when he chips, more straight up and down, and going. So I really think it's the speed of the NFL. It's one of those things here in week 6 and 7. We're not going to be talking about this as much. He's starting to pick it up. It's starting to show. And You know, he is punishing people when he gets the opportunity, whether it be a linebacker, safety, cornerback. None of those guys are wanting to take him head on because if he's got a head of steam going, the kid is hurting people. I mean, he is and staying upright. It's not just he hits them and he goes down. He's bouncing off and still getting yards after that. You know, they're down on the ground and he's just still going. So let's let this speed pick up, figure out what we have to do on the offensive line. You know, again, I guarantee everybody in the chat, everybody everywhere has their own opinion on what needs to be done on the offensive line. Whatever it is, it needs to be done. And I think going into this Bears game, we have an opportunity to make progress in fixing this shit.
Yeah, because the thing with Genty is when you see him, when he can go forward and pick up some kind of momentum going forward, he can put his shoulder down and knock down a linebacker, knock down a safety. We saw it in preseason. We saw it at least one time in these 3 games where he had the opportunity to do so. You see when he's in the backfield, it takes about 3 guys, even if he gets the ball and he stood up, it still takes about 3 guys to bring him down. So if we can get a decent block, an offensive line that can make some decent blocks, make that hole, because like you said, Asylum, when that hole's open, I get the ball, it's closed. If you can give him a sliver, because there was another in the highlight where you saw him try to run, but there was already closed on it.
All he needs, give him enough for his shoulders to be able to go through. It don't need to be a big hole, just enough where he don't have to try to turn anything else like that. His shoulders can go through. Measure his shoulders, okay? Staple it and wherever you need to on that offensive line and say, this is how big the gap needs to be for him. Because when it's that much where he shoulders forward and his momentum going forward, he'll be able to hit the hole hard, and anybody who tries to fill it last minute is going to pay for it. Because that's the other thing I noticed on that one you're talking about. He was able to kind of squeeze through, but what caused him to not do anything? His legs getting tangled up with the offensive lineman.
Yes.
If you give him, shoulder width, now their legs are out of the way, and his legs get to keep moving. He don't have to take baby steps. He's able to keep in that stride that he goes to be able to punish the first guy who comes and tries to tackle him.
Yeah. Here's Pete Carroll talking. This is from today's press conference, I believe. Yes. Pete Carroll talking about Ashton Genty and, him back there and what he's going through as a running back.
Ashton Genty's been hit at or behind the line of scrimmage on more than 50% of his carries this season. When you look at film, what has led to that? Is that more offensive line?
We have to get him better spacing, and we got to get him away from all those guys in the middle. So it's the whole attack. We've just got to continue to expand it and keep him from getting hit, because he's the first one to look for hits too. He wants to hit the first thing that moves. He's tougher as hell, but we got to get him cleaner. So we're all working together to get that done.
Exactly what you said, Asylum, where we gotta get him more space. And that's also what Peggy was saying just earlier, where was he at in the passing game? Because get him out in a swing route, whatever, get him into open space so he can take out take forward, not trying to go between 5 guys getting crunched together. But I know that's what you were saying when it comes to, like, if he's gonna chip off a blitzing backer or somebody coming in, he loses his footing because he's trying to take on the guy and then try to recollect his feet to come around instead of coming at the guy, bumping him enough where the guy loses a step and then coming around to be that safety valve. So yeah, he's still learning. It's still new. It's not college where you're the best out of, you're the big fish in the small pond. You are now the all-star team of part of the all-stars of all the all-stars of college football.
And I'm sure in college, if you watch his tape, the offensive lineman that he went up against and was able to chip, he was able to move them more than the other way around. He's probably not used to going up against, like you said, the best of the best, right? There's only 32 teams, so it's the best of the best. When this 300-pound lineman, defensive lineman is there versus maybe a 300-pound defensive lineman that's going to be a third string, in the NFL, but he's starting because they don't got nobody better. So his footwork's not as good as an NFL starting defensive lineman who has his feet planted, fighting the offensive lineman, but could take that, because it's all about foot position and everything,
leverage.
Leverage. And then when you hit them and you're off balance, that's the last thing you expect.
Yeah. Here is Baldy talking about I forgot what the defensive lineman for the Commanders, but basically he kind of was the main wrecking ball when it came to our offensive line. Here we go. Where's the play? Oh, I'm on the wrong one. That's why. Okay, here we go. There we go.
Deron Payne was a pain in the Raiders offense all day long. No matter what the play was, Deron Payne was at the ball. Like here, Geno Smith can't get the ball to Dylan Lowe. All right, now you watch him right here. This is 3rd and 17. Get rid of Brock Bowers. All right, make the play. They thought they would be able to maybe gain 7-8 yards and then punt. No, not with Deron Payne right there. Like you feel the boot drag right here. Feel the drag coming across. Now see it. Now go make the play on Bowers. Like he was everywhere. This was as good a game. You watch him right here. Here's a tackle trap. Watch this. Bam. Get rid of Colton Miller. Like just feel it. Get rid of him. Now make the play. And just jump on Genty. Don't let him get going. Don't let him get started. Like,
hold on. I want to stop there real quick. I played tackle in high school. I played left tackle. If you're a pulling tackle and you're bringing in all that weight and all that momentum and you get bounced off like that, or go back.
Get started. Like it was one good play going. Don't let him get started.
Hold on. Where is that?
Feel it. Get rid of him. Now make the play.
How do you
feel it?
Boom.
Get rid of him. Now make the play.
You don't put your head down. You don't, whatever you learn on the sled is not being applied here. And I know the sled is straight on, but I mean, it's the same when you get to your blocker and you put the shoulder down, you still got to keep the head up though, but you put the shoulder down, you get underneath the shoulder pad, you get underneath and you drive. And it just seemed like he just tried to just occupy him. And the guy just blew him out. He just
feel it, get rid of him, now make the play. And just jump on Genty. Don't let him get going. Sad. Don't let him get started.
Sad.
Like it was one good play after another. Like watch him hold the point here. They're double teaming him, just holding the point. Just waiting for him to pop out, outside arm free. Down goes Genty. All right, great job.
Jeff knows the trenches.
Then you hit 2-point try. It didn't matter. 2-point try, they weren't giving him anything. Hold the point right here. Here comes Genty. Take him with that right arm right there and keep him out of the end zone. Deron Payne, along with everybody else. I mean, there was a lot of players. Wags, Luvu, Kinlaw. There was a lot of players that contributed. But Deron Payne was at the point of everything in that game.
Sad. And Miller is your veteran. Miller is your guy. Like Peggy said, Miller is the guy you extended an extra 3 years, and you're getting. Because, see, there's one thing about scheme, and then there's one thing about fundamental and just, I'm not going to get blown off this line. I'm going to just go, full force, kind of like what JPJ does, which sometimes he might do a little bit too much, and they got to call the referee and say, hey, man, he's playing too rough. I'm not saying JPJ is the answer, nor am I saying he's a liability when it comes to that kind of play and whatever, because there is a smarts to when you want to be aggressive. There is also, you still got to be smart. Like a quarterback, you can't just keep going for deep balls and then not expect for you to get an interception. The offensive lineman, you can't expect to start playing, I don't want to say a little dirty, but using aggression and just using pure, like, I'm not going to let you beat me if I have to do a little cheating, if I have to do a little inside face masking, which we did in high school, in which I taught the kids the 2 years out there. When I coached, if you know where the referees are at, kind of like what Filippiano did, if you knew how to play the game and bend the rules, you get away with it. Because Asylum, what was Raider rule number 1?
Cheating is encouraged.
What was Raider rule number 2?
Refer back to Raider rule number 1.
We need an offensive lineman coach. I'm not saying Brandon I don't know. We're learning him as the head guy in charge of a 5-man unit that has to work together as one, but you need an offensive line coach. He has to have that mentality too, that me mentality. Kind of like what Peggy said with Tom Cable. punching out his own coaching staff. You need, and I don't know if people think that offensive line, you have to be.
Well, again, I know where Peggy was trying to go with this. I don't mean to interrupt, but is this a coaching problem or is this a player execution problem?
And that's what we're, because I know last year when we tried to break down film of the offensive line, we were looking at that one play when they got the interception. They were like 2 yards away from scoring, and it was 4 straight plays of 1 yard, a yard loss, 2 yards loss, 1 yard gain, and then we went turnover and downs. We couldn't push because one half of the line was like zone blocking, and the other half was man blocking, and it was just like they were all on different pages. I don't know. It just looks more like they looked a little lost. They don't know where they're supposed to go because that could either be maybe Meredith it saw one thing and then they went and changed, the way the defense came at them, attacked the offensive line. They went and changed it. Like I noticed in the first 2 games when it came to the offensive line or with the inside guards, when the D tackle and the defensive end start doing that stunt where they cross, and then they don't know where to go. It comes down to fundamentals for the most part. Offensive linemen, we rely heavily on fundamentals. Yeah, okay, on this play I got a down block. Okay, on this play I got a reach block. Okay, on this play I got to go to the next level and hit the linebacker. But for the most part, if things break down, we rely on our fundamentals, and that fundamentals is where you have to get nastier than the defender. And I think a lot of people don't realize that an offensive lineman, though there's no stats on us, though we have to be, the only time if you hear our names, usually it's bad. Holding, gave up a sack, like Donald Penn, the only sack he gave up. Yeah. Which that one call that they had in the game was garbage. He was on like 1 yard away. He was already engaging somebody.
He was like a yard and a half.
Ticky tack penalty right there. But offensive linemen, you need to understand, to play offensive line, you have to be nastier than that defensive lineman. Yeah, the defensive lineman get in, he gets the sack, and he does his dance or whatever. But an offensive lineman, he has to stop a guy coming at him. An offensive lineman, on a run play, yeah, you get to go forward and try to go, like 2 rams hitting each other. And whoever has the strongest legs or has the quick, if you're quicker than the other guy to get him off his stance, and then drive that guy. But on pass blocking, some guys, the tackles give ground, but then you got to put that foot back, that outside foot back as your anchor. And you have to use that one leg as your, to hold the guy back and then still be able to move your feet. If he's trying to do a spin move, or if he's trying to do a rip move, or if he's trying to, do whatever he can to drive you back. You see Max tries to do all the time, to do all these special moves to get away from you. An offensive lineman has to stop you. You do all the tricks. You got the forward momentum coming at him. Offensive linemen have to be nasty. That's why you see sometimes where Max Crosby will have a arm around his neck. He's getting chokehold. He's getting hogtied coming down, because the offensive linemen have to be nasty that way. And these players are not being nasty. Huh?
And saying not getting calls.
And not getting called. It's hard for an offense. It's hard for a referee to look at 5 guys, that the line judge look at 5 guys, not the burger place, but the 5 guys out in front and figure out, okay, wait, did he?
Alan Burgundy was talking about earlier.
At the titty party. But that's one thing I used to teach. And I'm saying, I coached offensive line in high school. So I know it's not as complex as the pro game and the different blocking schemes, but fundamentally wise, you have to know that you have to know that you need to find any kind of way to slow that D tackle up, especially if it's for 1 second, because that 1 second could be an eternity for that quarterback to find that receiver going down the sideline, on a go route.
That 1 second could be the difference between a cut for a running back or a wide receiver getting open.
Yeah.
I mean, a second is quick, and we all know. But in the game of football, that 1 second could be all the difference in a play.
Yeah. And that's where the Raiders, this offensive line, it's what, and I wanted to start the segment off that way, and I forgot that we had the intro here, but it has right here, Kate.
One thing you got to understand is the only way to play this game is you got to get down in the dirt and get nasty. Let's go.
I wanted to open up with that, and I totally forgot.
Even that right there, with what you're going with, and it goes on both sides. The game is won and lost in the trenches.
Mm-hmm.
And we proved it last year, and we're starting this year the same way. Our offensive trenches is where the struggle is right now. For the offense, we're supposed to be explosive, and we've shown signs of it. Jensen's shown signs that, given the chance and given the right circumstance, that he could be that dominant back that we've been looking for, that everybody's been wanting. When Marshawn Lynch came here, that Marshawn Lynch was supposed to be. Receiving. Tucker, I told you to watch out for him. He's going to have a breakout season. It started in this last, it started earlier, but this last game proved it. 145 yards, and people want to say garbage time, but you know what? Peggy had said, and I mean, other than that last touchdown, he was already, putting the game together and just being what needed to be done. With Jacoby, with Brock Bowers, the explosiveness of this offense is there. But if the trenches are not doing their job, fundamentals, like you said, and everything, then it's hard. That 1 second you were talking about, that's a hole opening up or closing up. We saw that with Genty on that one play. He's trying to thread a needle. That was probably literally a second from the time of I have a hole to now it's not there.
Mm-hmm.
Wide receiver making his cut and now putting that distance to be able to catch the ball and, go. The quarterback getting that second read to the open guy. I mean, there's so much that can be done in that 1 second that you're asking for.
Or like you said, where that receiver is running into that window where between the safety and that corner, whoever is that initial man that's covering him, give me half a second till he gets to that window so I can lead him on in that pass. That second is an eternity for a quarterback back there.
Exactly.
So
it's an eternity.
But we talk about, and this is one thing that I was texting to you when we were watching the game, was JPJ I thought was going to start. He was fully dressed. He was dressed up and everything. I remember seeing him on the sideline, and he's the only guy with the longest nameplate on the back of his jersey. So I knew that was JPJ. This is what Pete Carroll was saying, why he started Kappa over JPJ.
Yes. What went to the decision to start Hawks Kappa at right guard over JPJ?
Just that it was a short week, and he just got back, and we'll give Alex a chance to go again and see how that goes. And he was available to play, but we just decided for the continuity coming out of last week, it might be a little bit smoother, and we didn't hit any of these days this week, and so it just felt like this was a better choice to go that way.
So he was started, I guess, for safety precaution when it came to JPJ, is the way it sounded like he worded it. On him starting JPJ for this Sunday or going forward, this is what Pete Carroll had to say on that.
The offensive line, you looking at any potential changes, or are you going to go with what you have?
We're working on some stuff. We want to see JPJ come back to action and get back involved. We have to, in all phases of it, we got to get off the football better and make more of the running game. There's not enough happening there to act on the play pass game, and we're just not getting enough. So we just got to keep working it. We got the guys we got, and there's and we need to keep developing and keep building on it.
So would that be competition at the right guard spot or the entire line, possibly?
we're working at the right guard spot. Our young guys they'll get their turn sometime, but they're not ready yet. So we have what we have, and we got to make our guys do better, and we got to fit it together better than we have.
Break that speech down, Asylum. We have the guys who we have, meaning we got to make it work with the guy. This is all we have.
They're not looking for anybody else. They're going to go with who we have on the team. We have rookies. We have this. We have who we have. And basically, I mean, for a simplicity on this, that was a Pete Carroll way of calling out the players, the offensive line.
You mean we're not doing business decisions no more?
I mean, this was his way of saying they need to step up and start doing their job.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's one of those things of, yes, we're expecting more. We're expecting. Now, we can work with changing them around. Okay? I know Peggy and a lot of people on here is going to disagree with me. Okay? Flat out. We've noticed a change in Meredith on the offensive line when JPJ's playing and Cap is playing.
Yeah.
Okay? When
Big difference.
JPJ's in there, he doesn't have to worry about his right side as much. Not saying that JPJ's perfect over there, but he doesn't have to worry as much. So he can focus on helping out Parham. But when Kappa was in there, he didn't know what to do. He's trying to do everything as a center. He's learning at it as a center. He's not playing bad. He's not playing great, but it's not bad considering being thrown into the position and what he's having to learn. He needs to learn to read the defenses better. I agree with Peggy there. That's going to come with experience. Okay? Go back to last year, JPJ struggled with the same problem. He wasn't able to call the defense as well. He was just a better athlete in the position, so it didn't show as much as he does with Meredith. Now, me personally, okay, I don't know who to put on that left side, but replace Parham with JPJ on the left side. Now you go from the center being able to do what he's trying to do. Colton Miller and JPJ solidified on a side now. Now you only got two players. Can Glaze do what he needs to do and step up? He's been good games and bad games. And then you got the guard position to fill. I don't know who to put there at right guard. I do not have that answer. But if you put JPJ at left guard, like I said originally, if you go all the way back before preseason and all that shit, when I was forced to make an offensive line, you have a way for an escape, a way for Geno to roll out as soon as he has the ball, because you know that side's going to be protected better.
Yeah.
You're going to have a running back in Genty who can make a cut real quick to the left side and go. And now you're focusing everything there and what I had talked about when I originally put there. Personally, if you keep Parham, he needs to go at center. Parham is not a good guard.
No, especially on that left side, too.
Especially on the left side. I don't know. Like I said earlier, you go trade for a guard, a right guard, to put JPJ on the left side. You know, you don't have to trade for the best guard, you know, in the NFL, but you could trade, you know, do a fifth round trade and get a serviceable guard who's better, you know, than fucking Parham and Kappa, you know, to help out there and go, you know, go that. Maybe people are not in the right positions. I'm not against JPJ going back to center, but Meredith, he had his ups and downs in the guard position as well. He did. I think he's playing better at center than he did at guard. So, you know, and if you're going to keep JPJ on the right side, put JPJ in. Kappa's not doing it. Let Meredith be able to help out Parham as much as he can and You got JPJ helping out Glaze, and maybe some holes open up a little bit. Again, we're not talking about much. We were talking about that much difference to get his shoulders to happen to try to turn and Genty's legs not getting tangled up. You know, it's getting to the point with what Pete Carroll said. We have what we have. We're not doing much here. Okay, then maybe try moving some people around instead of just sticking with what you got, because Parm is regressing. Game. Okay. Kappa is obviously a spot injury alone.
Well, maybe Kappa is still whatever the injury he had in the ribs or whatever. Maybe that is kind of like with Miller last year is hindering him, and where he's become more of a liability on the offensive line more so than another serviceable guy. But I don't know. This line has been always like ever since car insurance. We haven't had a mean offensive lineman outside of JPJ because he's still new. He's in the second year. Outside of JPJ, we haven't had a mean offensive lineman since Incognito.
Wait, who do we have at center there?
We had at the time it was he went to the Cardinals. I'm forgetting his name for some reason. I know his name. He went to the Cardinals. He got traded to the Cardinals. Why am I forgetting his name?
Do you need the help?
Yes, I need the help.
I need to phone a friend. Are you phoning a friend?
I need to phone a friend.
Hudson.
I knew it started with an H. Got traded to the Cardinals. Yeah.
Yeah. He asked to get traded, got traded to the Cardinals. Now, now Valdir.
I like Valdir too.
I like Valdir. But now this is going to what Peggy was saying, an experienced monster. I'm going to call him a monster because that's what he was at center. An experienced monster who could be able to do it, but he was able to handle a guard on his right or guard on his left who was struggling. He could be able to, help there. But was he able to help when he had one on each side of him? I know Meredith is small. I know Meredith is new to the position, and there's a lot of learning that needs to go on. But you know what you can do is somebody who's a little bit more experienced, maybe, instead of putting the pressure on Meredith to call the defense, have one of the guards, an experienced guard, somebody who can do it, call it instead. Somebody else on that offensive line can call it. Give it to Geno Smith. Let Geno Smith, there's been quarterbacks who called out blocking assignments. I believe Brett Favre was one who called out the blocking assignments of his offensive line. Geno Smith has all the experience. Geno Smith wears that C on his chest. Right? He has the most experience on what he sees, so let him call out the blocking assignments. Until Meredith could do it.
Because it is a young group, and if this is the group that they like we were talking about in the first hour, they rolled with it from last year. And last year, they were getting better under Philbin, and maybe Philbin was the one that said these guys can work if they have a system and someone who knows how to push them, which could be Philbin, could be the one coming once again from the booth as the senior assistant, offensive assistant, come back down, work in the trenches again. I don't know. Put Brandon in on the bench and be like, hey, learn from me until you're ready to come out there. I don't know. But going back to resembling how the 2024 offensive line looked, this is what Pete Carroll asking that question on what he had to say on switching back to that 2024 configuration.
You mentioned fitting the offensive line. I think on Monday it was. Last year, the Raiders finished with Jordan Meredith at left guard, Dylan Parham was at right guard and Jackson was at center. Would you consider maybe going back to something like that? Is that
Absolutely not. No, we've invested a lot of time with these guys playing in their spots. I know you're interested in JPJ. This is an official week to practice and to get ready. Yet last week was not that. So he's ready to compete for the playing time, and he and Alex will be going at it. So it's a good situation in that regard.
When you say competing for playing time,
Jackson and anybody in 2 weeks. We got to see what he can do. So we got to check him out and see how he does.
Jackson hasn't anybody in 2 weeks. We got to see how he does.
I mean, when it comes,
we're not going back.
Though, I mean, I've had 7 of those. I've had the wide range of a mild to his severe concussions. I mean, he does kind of have a point there. Sometimes you feel better, and then
ET is not real.
You know, and then you get out there and one hit and it changes everything. You know, those defensive linemen, they slap at the helmets. There's all kinds of things.
You know what that reminds me of? Do you remember Varsity Blues?
Yeah, the big offensive bleeding from his ears. He's got 7 concussions left. Oh, make it 6. Oh, make it 5.
That's JPJ right now. You know, that crazy offense. You know, and then okay, wait, hold on. How many? Wait, CT is not real. You know, at the time, no. Wait, you know.
I mean, and that statement there though tells me they see something. At least with JPJ, because I think that's where that statement was coming from. Not necessarily others around, but they see JPJ as a guard more than a center. And again, we talked about it earlier. It's his athleticism.
Yeah.
It's his viciousness. At center, it's great, but his viciousness is toned down at a center because there's only so much you're exposed to do as a center. And the only way to utilize his meanness, his tough, all that, is you got to put him at one of the guard positions and be able to let him, go everywhere else. So that's what I see there. My question is, why the right side, right, versus the left? Me, protect Geno's blind spot. Let that viciousness come. I get when Geno wants to run, he's going to go, to the right more often because that's where he's facing. But again, I'm going to go, the weakness, being Parham and Glaze. Glaze has showed, Glaze is in his second year as well. He was thrown in as a rookie. Again, is that because Kappa's there and can't trust? Is Kappa the problem there that's affecting 3 positions, not just one?
And that's the only change. I mean, I know we're going based off of one game against the Patriots to the 2 games that we want, with the Chargers and this Commanders defense. But Kappa's the only thing that changed, and the difference between the 2 games was we had 9 plus 20. We had 9 20+ yard explosive plays in the air, and the running game was still kind of compared to 3 interceptions in the Charger game, and we did get 3 touchdowns, in the air to Tucker this game, but that was when he finally had the extra second to make these throws, which is very rare because of the how many sacks did he have with the 5 sacks that he was under duress the whole game. Kappa was the guard, that right guard on there. I'm not saying it's all on Kappa, but compared to 2 games to the one.
Kappa did not do anything in the preseason. He did not, practices were limited. Then he gets, he's healthy and, he's being thrown into the mix in a whole new system, a whole new everything. It kind of, Kappa right now is reminding me of Colton Miller of last year.
Yeah.
Maybe he's coming back a little too early from that injury, and he's not ready to play right now.
And he's still cold because he didn't have really a training camp. He came in like the last preseason game, I believe, or something, where he was cleared to play. So he's coming in cold. Didn't take a lot of hits in training camp because he was sidelined with that. It was a rib injury, right? A rib injury.
I believe they called it a rib, but it could be an oblique.
Abominable.
Yeah.
Abs. Yeah. So, I mean, okay. I guess because we could talk all day long about the offensive line. Do we put this loss on the offensive line? I know special teams, a lot of us forget about special teams, but special teams is the teams that give us our field positioning, whether it's on offense or on defense. The more yards we give up for our defense, as the less they have to try to defend. They don't have a lot of room, and then vice versa. The more we can gain on special teams for the offense, that's a lesser field that we get to work with closer to our own end zone. But who was the main culprit in this game overall for this loss?
I mean, that's tough because you got special teams you can blame. You got the secondary you could blame. You got linebackers you could blame. You got the offensive line that you could blame.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. To answer your question, who can you blame for this loss? The Raiders.
Because it's a team sport.
It's a team sport. It's the Raiders. I mean, we failed in all three phases.
Yeah.
Is what we did. So do you want to turn around and say that's coaching? Or was it just the Raiders? Did the Raiders beat themselves in this game? Special teams didn't do shit. Defense was not the defense that we know. We were doing well, even against the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
We were being known as we were able to stop the run. We were fit in the NFL against the run. And we allowed them to run for 200 fucking yards. With a 7th round rookie backup running back.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I'm sorry, 201. I was off by a yard. Excuse me. So, I mean,
numbers matter.
Yeah, they do. So, I mean,
especially in fantasy.
It's under protest. That's all I have to say. Under protest.
Well, the good news is the Raiders keep their streak, 38 consecutive games with a sack, because Max Crosby got that sack. It was at the end of the game, but he did blow up the tackle, the up back, and Mariota jumping over everybody on that one. But so let's, because we got 9 minutes left. We got to talk about fantasy football.
No,
we got to talk about fantasy
protest.
Football.
Under protest.
We're over here, fantasy football guys. All right, let's go. I need my music here. Where's my music?
I don't know. I'm under protest.
Do a little.
Fucking bullshit. It's under protest.
And let's look at last week's scores right here, guys. All right, I'm gonna zoom in on this one. Asylum versus Raider Savage. Right here, Battle of the Cage Match hosts 125-82 because my Vikings defense pulled off.
It's under protest. I want to re-fucking count. I told you before, you want somebody to go off for 30 points? Go ahead and fucking play me. And I'm going to say this much. A defense is not supposed to get 30 fucking points. I want to recount. I want to revote. Whatever the fuck it is, the rest of this season is under protest.
Okay. Going to the next one. Daniel,
right here.
Under protest. Daniel's daring team pulled out the victory over Eduardo's excellent team to go 1-2, which Edward is now 1-2. Mean Machine and Holy Roller, the two teams. No. Holy Roller, I thought Mean Machine, that's Jeff, was undefeated. He wasn't. He lost last week. to Anna. Holy Roller, Jessica took over the game and had this game early and beats Jeff 126-94. Her being 3-0 and Jeff 1-2. Now this one was a battle of undefeateds right here. Anna and Pig's Pig. Anna, it was tight. It was tight. It was back and forth, but Pig's Pig prevails. He gets to win 132-119. And my sister, Raider Stitch, was able to beat KDO 2 weeks in a row. He had a quarterback that only scored 3 points for the whole. That was it. You know, last week he had JJ McCarthy. Last week he had JJ McCarthy, and he got hurt, and he didn't do well, and he only got 3 points. And then this last week he went with Michael Penix, and I guess his Penix wasn't working well, where they benched him. So my sister gets her first win and takes care of business on that one. Now we're going into week 4, but this is where it gets interesting right here. Daniel's team takes on Asylum. Asylum being the only 0-3 team in the league. But he goes against Daniel's darling team, which this is right now, you know, as of when this was made yesterday, 66% to Daniel, 34% to Asylum.
Under protest.
Underdog, you can take it. I believe in you, Asylum. The sibling rivalry is coming up right here. Raider Savage takes on Raider Stitch, where Alicia Raider Stitch is 56% to beat me, 44% in this matchup coming up this week. You have Eduardo and Mean Machine going against each other right now. Edward has 61% to Jeff's 39%. They're both 1-2, but someone's going to be 500 at the end of this week. Asylum goes against Anna. I pray for Asylum. Arcadio goes against Anna. I pray for you, Cadio, that you can find a quarterback that can score more than 4 points this week. Because if that's the case, then it is coaching. Cadio, you got to get your quarterbacks to start making some plays. And right here, this is the matchup. This is basically the primetime game. Holy Roller versus Pig's Pig. Battle of the last two undefeated. My Penix didn't work. Cadio said 48% to Jessica Holy Roller right now, projected to 52.
Praise for Asylum. Who am I playing? Daniel, I guarantee you're going to get somebody who scores 30 points.
The battle of undefeateds right there. Holy Roller versus Pig's Pig. Whoever comes out of that is going to be the lone undefeated team and the one that is closest to the main thing that we are all trying to fight for right here. Let me make sure my camera angles are good. That is right there, the cage match. Royal Fumble belt right there that everyone is fighting for and everybody wants. So, but say,
JPJ is expected to start at right guard.
My sister, burritos on the line. Thank you, Edward. Thank you very much. But this is what we're all fighting for right here in the Cage Match Royal Fumble League, is the coveted belt right there. And it's still close, okay? Because right now, there's only two undefeated teams at 2-0 or 3-0. There's only 2-1 teams, which is me and Anna. And then there's a whole bunch of 1 and 2 teams. And then there's... Hey, you are the strongest team because you're holding everybody up, okay? But I believe that you can pull this off because everyone has to lose their virginity at one time in their life, okay? And I believe this is... I'm messing with you. My statement
again. There we go.
Yeah.
There's
So
my profile picture to that right there.
just make sure that your Penix is working for this contact sport. Okay. Not. All right. That was your fantasy football Royal Fumble. Right there. The belt right there that everyone wants. But only one person can get. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sound like Beetlejuice. Oh, yeah. Okay. Anyway, Asylum. All right. We have less than a minute. Asylum, any last words or anything that you want to say?
Rest of the damn season's under protest. Okay.
Dubby, save me now. Oh, yeah.
I thought that was Calgon. Now I'm showing my age. Calgon, take me away.
If you don't do Dubby, you might get diddied. Hey, no. Anyways, all right.
Look, you got diddied. I tell you that much.
That is our show for today. We appreciate
There was no baby oil at that party.
Like the Ice Cube song, straight no Vaseline. All right. That was our show for today. We appreciate everyone who was watching. We saw our numbers go up to 17, 18 people watching live, more so because of Miss Peggy, who we thank every 2 weeks. She shows up, comes on the show, and just hits us with hard facts. You got to be quicker than I like that State Farm commercial. When she, you got it, because she's going to hit you hard. That's why I wore the Hard Knocks hat. Okay. So, and shouts out to Vincent, always here every single week. Appreciate you, Vincent, for watching the show.
I'll be doing go as far as Vincent, who sends us emails.
Yes.
Right before the show, putting in his, you know what? We need to make a segment where we just post his emails on what he says, since we haven't been able to, verbally put it out here, just to show what he's putting up there. A Vincent segment, because he's usually working, and we understand that that's more important. But he's still trying to put his input in there. So hats off to you, Vincent, for that.
Yes. And, we appreciate those who watch our show, whether it's religiously, you love the way we put the show together, the facts, the stats, and the laughs. They don't all rhyme, but I tried. We like to be, we try to be like that late night comedy, a talk show without the controversy that may know, like let's be funny, Kay. Let's be funny. Let's not.
Ours is like Johnny Carson. That's what we're like.
Yes. Johnny Carson. Conan O'Brien. I like Conan O'Brien. All right, so that is our show. Appreciate everybody who's watching. And don't get it twisted. We are the original ones that had the wrestling theme for our show. And we did the disclaimer in the beginning because we kept fighting with YouTube, not just to be cute. We had to fight with YouTube because that's what we do. In the cage match.
We had a reason.
We fight with YouTube all the time because of this man right here who was trying to shut us down. Where is he at? Who was trying to shut us down? Okay. That's how that goes. All right. Want to thank
curtains again.
Want to thank everybody for watching the show. Appreciate you. We will not be on this Friday, but the show will be moved to Saturday morning. This week I have a family thing I have to attend to. So our show will be
subscribe, like, hit that bell. That way, when we come on Saturday, not Friday, which is our normal time. I know we do it normally on Friday, but there's a change. So if you hit that bell and subscribe and hit the bell, then you'll know when we're coming on Saturday and be able to catch us.
Yes. So we'll put it out there. But we won't be on Friday evening at our regular time during the season. We'll be on Saturday morning. The time will be put out there. when the thumbnail comes out. So we want to thank everybody for watching. We'll break down the next game against the Bears. We'll try to get all the notes that Tom Brady wrote for the Raiders, because he did the game this past Sunday. So allegedly that, he has the notes. I'm just joking. So anyways, thank you everybody for watching the show. Appreciate it. We end every show like we always do. A word from Coach Wallace, a.k.a. Raider Milt from back in the Oakland days. So yes, take care, everybody. Have a good night, and fix that offensive line, Raiders. Come on, man. Let's just take care of this.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
In case you missed it, watch the beginning because I want another video of Kay Adams taking a money shot.
Check out the CMN when it gets posted. All right, peace out. Have a good night, and see you on Saturday. Peace.
All you other NFL teams, your tailgates are weak. Your teams are weak. We might be down right now, but it doesn't take away the history. And all you Raiders out there need to know your fucking history of who the fuck you playing for and where the fuck you're playing. Damn it. Oh, and by the way, I won my last cage fight. Again, I'm still undefeated. And you NFL motherfuckers out there that you think you want some, come on and get some anytime.